Hey there, everybody. Wow, what a day. Okay, I actually wasn't thinking of doing a video. The last video I did was the Breath of Fire one. I was actually working on maybe doing a Dragon Age video and doing the first Dragon Age Origins, just doing the first one and maybe the Awakening expansion. But right now, I was just like, well, I'll work on that a little bit later. But, but, I was up last night pretty late because I watched the Elimination Chamber match, and I didn't sleep last night because I was kind of like doing my own little thing. I kind of get revved up when I'm watching because it was a really good event. WWE did a really good job this year, and actually, I gotta be honest, I've been liking what WWE's been doing lately, and I've enjoyed it. So keep it up, WWE Network. Yes, I'm an everything geek. I'm into a little bit of everything. Keep it up. I enjoyed it. I think I watched Monsters for the first time last night, which I'm gonna get a video. There's a couple videos I want to do, and Monsters is gonna be a part of it. But I have to watch a couple other movies back to back to back first before I do it. So I'm gonna get to that a little bit later. And so the reason I'm doing this ESRB this ESRB video was because I actually had an event happen. And you're like, well, ESRB, well, everyone's talked about that. There really hasn't been anything in the media about, the ESRB rating or violent video games. But I gotta say something about this, and I'm gonna be honest on this sense a little bit. This is probably gonna be the most political and social episode I'm ever gonna do. I honestly don't want to get into the political stuff. I don't want to touch base like this and let people kind of like, know my side of the thing. I kind of like want to leave that vacant. I don't want to really get into the whole, philosophy, what I have behind the environment or social behavior or any of this type of stuff. I want to stay away. I want to stay kind of far, far, far away from that. Because personally, I don't know if my views are politically correct or impolitically correct. All I know is I believe what I believe, and that is what I believe. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, this has happened to me today, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm actually going to go a little bit back in time to a simpler era where I had every PlayStation 2 game that ever came out. Yes, that was my console. That was the only console I spent some serious money on. Everything else was kind of like pick and choose. That was the one I spent like, almost bought every video game, including the racing and sports games. Very rare that I ever liked the racing and sports games, but there you go. First time ever. Actually, I'm trying to find Samurai Warriors Empire and a couple others again, because a lot of my stuff got stolen, but I'll get to that later. Anyway, so I was gonna pick up this game. I'm picking up the last Mass Effect for my Xbox collection. I'm almost done my Xbox collection. My 360 collection's almost done. I need to pick up Mass Effect 3. Well, I just did. I gotta pick up a couple other video games, and I'm pretty much done Dragon Age Inquisition, I think it was, and a couple others. So I'm picking up these games, and you know, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I see this mother, and she's there with her kids, and her son's pointing out one of the Saints Row games, and I'm like, whoa, 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 because that is mature shit. That apologize for the swear. That is mature. And that was a pretty violent video game. So I kind of like tell the mother, well, this is a really violent video game. This is like a 7-year old. This wasn't like, a 13, 14-year old. This is a 7-year old. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't buy this for her. Turn it around, show it to her, kind of give her a heads up on what's what with the SRB. Kind of explain, mature isn't mother's improved. And so I show her a couple other video games, and I show her a couple other video game comparisons of games that people think. Like I show her Naughty Bear. By the way, I got to get the gold version. I want to do a review on that one of these days. Naughty Bear and a couple other games that like say their thing, but if you look at them, they are violent video games. And I kind of show her where you can find the information how violent, where the violent video games, and she took it rather well. And you know, out of the 4 times I've done this, there's only been one time I've had a parent actually take it negatively, but this was great. This had never happened to me to this point, and it was awesome. Like I've had something close to this, but I've never had something like actually happen like this. So as the mother's like, oh well, thank you very much, and I get her an e-game. I can't remember what e-game. She's like, well, I really appreciate you giving me this information. I didn't know this, and I'm like, wow, she's really happy that I gave her this information. I guess she didn't want her son to have this super violent video game. Awesome, I really did something good. And I'm like, that's kick-ass. I feel, I'm kind of like, a part of me feels like almost vindicated that I helped this person out a little bit. And as she's walking away with her 2 kids, her son, her youngest, this kid's about 6 years old, looks at me as the mother turns the corner. Fuck you, asshole. I'm fucking serious. I'm totally serious. This 6-year-old just said, fuck you, asshole, to my face. This little kid, I mean, I have like, I'm a big fucking guy. Like, I'm no small guy. Like, you know, I know my UFC days are are over. I'm not exactly like, I'm not exactly fit like a fiddle like I used to be. I'm not doing the old backyard wrestling anymore. I haven't done that in decades. I haven't played paint gun in forever. But like literally I could grab this 6-year-old, shout Hulk smash, pick him up over my head, spin him like a helicopter, and throw him over the aisles. If I wanted to. And this kid, I mean, this kid had balls. Like, I gotta admit, for saying that to me, this kid had balls. And I thought it was the most funniest thing on the planet. I just started laughing. I just couldn't help it. Like, I just started laughing. I was giggling. I was giggling away. I couldn't help it. I'm walking up to the till, and I am laughing because this kid literally, like, told me off. And you know what? Regardless of why that kid told me off, I totally did. As much as the thing, I did as much for that. I did as much for the parent as I did for the kid. You know, I personally really couldn't give a crap what a kid wants to play if they want to play a violent video game. But if the parent doesn't want the kid to play a violent video game, then they're the parent and they have the right. Okay? Honestly, kids out there, you don't have the right to play whatever you want. You don't have the right to do whatever you want on some levels. You can't do that until you're an adult. Trust me. And even then, you got another parent we like to call the authority, and they definitely don't want you doing whatever you want. Get used to it, kids. Honestly, life is like this. You know, they definitely don't want you doing whatever you want. You can get away with some stuff, but there's a certain level where, the authority is going to be like, nope. Law enforcement's like, nope, you aren't doing that. And parents are basically that version of this, But the big difference is where, you have judge, you have jury, on some occasions you have an executioner, but parents are judge, jury, and executioner, and I understand. But this is the thing, parents out there, don't buy your kids violent video games if you don't think they can handle it. Honestly, when I was a kid, I couldn't handle the Poltergeist. I couldn't handle The Exorcist. I am still effing scared of those movies now because of one of my uncles. screw you, uncle, screw you. I'm still scared of those. I'm still scared of the I'm still scared of the poltergeist. I'm still scared of the Exorcist because of this. I'm terrified of these movies now. I can't watch them to this day. They scare the hell out of me because my uncle decided to bring these here, and I shouldn't have been watching them. And that's the truth. Sometimes kids can't play these things. And all to all those parents that freak out and go, "Oh, there shouldn't be violent video games." Well, you know what I got to say about that is it's an entertainment format. Video games, the consoles, gaming itself is an entertainment format. Just as you have violent movies, just as you have violent books, you know what? It exists as a format. It means that it's for everybody. Entertainment is for everybody in general, okay? There are different types of entertainment. There's more, aggressive stuff and there's less aggressive stuff. There's stuff meant for kids and there's stuff meant for adults. If you don't want your kid playing that violent video game, well, guess what? Until a kid turns usually to the age of 13 is before they actually first find their work. Their average kid will not be able to pay for what they need. It's the adult. So it's your responsibility to deal with that. And, I know a lot of parents out there that have actually made the decision to actually say to other parents, hey, I don't want my kid playing that violent video game. Can you not play it? Not make him play it. I don't want him playing mature games. And other parents, most of the time, I'm not saying this is every situation. I have a friend of mine who has kids of his own, and he didn't want his kids playing Grand Theft Auto for a bit until they got a little bit older. So he told the other parent, the other father, hey, can you just don't I don't care about teen games. Go ahead. They can play teen, just keep them away from the mature games for a bit. And I totally, totally agree. Like, yeah, you know what? Like most parents were like, yeah, and the guy was like, he wasn't pissed off. People are so afraid to tell their parents. If you talk to someone responsibly and you talk to someone generally nice, you don't like be a complete fucking asshole to them. Pardon my language. Most people will respond in kind. Most people, not everybody, and I can actually come to an incident about that very, very shortly. But, most people are in kind. And I hate the idea of parents telling us and people telling us, oh, we shouldn't have the right to play these violent video games. Honestly, I am someone who I run the gambit. I don't always play violent video games. I really, there are days I play Harvest Moon like Harvest Moon is still one of my favorite games of all time. Survival Kids is one of my favorite games of all time for the Game Boy. Actually, it's an amazing game. I enjoy it. There's not really that much. Well, there is violence, but it's like survival violence. It's not really like you're actually going out and actually killing someone and cutting their throats or anything like that. I really couldn't care. All the time with violence. I play Minecraft and I don't play the aggressive modes. I play sometimes passive Minecraft. Like, and I play by myself most of the time. I actually rarely play with other people. Rarely go online and play with other people. I play by myself. And that's just the way I am. Sometimes I want to. But at the same time, I want to play games like Manhunt. I want to play games like Naughty Bear. And these are aggressive freaking games. These games are violent. Very, 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 very violent. And I'm not going to lie. They are the most, in some occasions, they're the most violent video games I've ever seen. Games like Manhunt, games like for the PlayStation 2, Manhunt was probably the most violent game I had ever seen at that point. Naughty Bear's another one. Like, I know you're killing teddy bears, but holy crap, that is violent. There's like, and it's horrible. And I gotta admit, when it comes to stuff like slasher flicks, I'm not a big fan of slasher flicks, but even though I do like games like Manhunt and games like Naughty Bear, I really don't like the slasher films, and that's just perspective. Hitman's another good example. Hitman Blood Money. I love that game. I played that game so many times it's not even funny. I've played it in every different scenario. I've played it every way humanly possible. And again, that is the most violent, that is an extremely violent video game. Contracts was actually, I think, a little bit more violent than the other one, but this one was pretty freaking violent. And these games are violent games. Fallout New Vegas, that's one of my favorites. That's still one of my favorites. I know it's glitchy as freaking as fuck, but pardon my language, I gotta stop swearing. You can tell I'm tired. It's not like it's violent. It's violent. It's super, 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 super violent. And I'm saying that these are super, super violent video games. And I do play them. And I'm not against, playing violent video games. I'm not against people having fun for that sense as an adult. I also will admit that not all kids can handle the extreme violence. Yeah, there are kids out there that really, really shouldn't see this. And, it's a parent's responsibility. You're the protectors of them. You're the protectors of your kids, man. You got to take that responsibility. And when you pass it off to, say, others, that's wrong. That's wrong. It's like you are the end all to be all to the situation. You're the front line and you're the back line. Yes, there's a certain point when you gotta let your kids go, but there's a certain point when you gotta keep on to them. And again, this is the thought of someone who's an outsider. I admit it. I'm an outsider looking in. I do not have kids. Probably never have kids. Closest thing to a child I've ever had is a dog. And that's as far as I'm going. And I don't deny it. I don't want kids, and whatever goes. And I'm gonna tell one more story, and this is kind of like to shoot the message home. And this is, like I said, there's been about 4, maybe 5 times I've told a parent this, and most of the time, out of those times, there was that one time, and I swore a lot in this episode, but I'm probably gonna swear a little bit more. Trying to do a direct quote here. I can't really remember exactly what she said because I'm exhausted. But anyway, um, so anyway, I went to, this is back in the PlayStation 2 era. And when I was picking up video games, I went to pick up, Silent Hill 2 because I had played Silent Hill 1, and even to this day, I have Silent Hill 1. It's kind of funny. I have a save file for Silent Hill 1. I'm still in the school. That game scares the bejesus out of me. I play it, I'm like, ah. I still haven't played it all the way through. Again. I've played it a million times and it still scares me, even with the crappy graphics. I think it's one of the most disturbing, creepy games I've ever played. And the funny thing is I actually find the other Silent Hills not as scary. Well, Silent Hill 2 was scary, and then after that I was like, eh. But anyway, I picked up Silent Hill 2, and this kid walks in with his mom, and this kid looks like he's like 5 years old. And he's like, Mommy, this is the game my friend was telling me about. Let's buy it. And so I turned to the mom, and again, I had not said anything offensive to her. I didn't go like, look, blah 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 blah. I just said, simply put, you shouldn't buy this for your son. It's a horror game. It's really scary. You really shouldn't buy it. And this mother came to me, and this is as close as I can get to a direct count being half awake. A direct count, direct quote. This mother turns and looks to me. I don't care what the F you think. This is my son, and I will buy him whatever game I want to. And stormed away from me. Took her kid and just stomp, 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 stomp. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Her right. I'll even go as far as saying her right to even tell me to F off. Her kid, understandable. Fine. Hadn't paid much mind to it for a while. 3 days go by. Well, about 2, maybe 3 days. and I'm looking for everything because I heard there was a friend of mine saw a walkthrough somewhere, and I am one of those guys. I buy everything for a video game if I can. I'll buy the posters, buy the books, buy the movies, buy the walkthroughs. I'm hardcore that way. Like whatever comes out for a game, I'll buy it usually. I'm bad for that. I'm on two separate occasions I have bought in the Skyrim. I bought the original Skyrim book, and I bought the Legends book. The walkthrough. No reason in particular. I never actually need it, but I just love having that type of stuff. And I love like sometimes they put the most coolest things in those walkthroughs. I gotta be honest. I think it's Brandy Games that does the kick-ass walkthroughs, but they do some really cool walkthroughs. Uh, Anyway, I'm like, oh, there's a walkthrough for Silent Hill. I'm like, well, I'm really not having any problems with it when I actually do play it. Because that one, I found that one pretty creepy too. So I'm like, okay, well, hey, what the hell? I might as well pick it up, grab it for, grab sakes. So I go to get this game, and lo and behold, the mother and son walk in, and the son looks like hell. I mean, bad. This kid looks like bad, bad, bad. Like he hasn't slept for like I guess about how long he had had the game for. 2 3 days. So the mother had noticed me. The son they hadn't noticed me. So I kind of like just walked over, picked up my picked up my walkthrough, and walked by. And I saw the mother like go to the shopkeep. She got her store credit. She's gonna go pick her son up an e game. And I saw her pick up an e game. And I'm like, oh okay, whatever. So I walk up, put the walkthrough, and the kid notices me, and I notice him, and I'm like, I shouldn't have said anything, but I had to. It just a part of me. This woman was mean to me, so what the hell? It was particularly nasty to me. What the hell? So I turn and say, "Scary game, wasn't it?" to the kid. The kid looks at me and he goes, "I had nightmares." And I said, "Yeah, that will do it to you." And I swear, if looks could kill, that mother would have like blown a hole through me. Just would have been my head would have exploded, and eyeballs would have went all over the place. I'm mentioning Fallout 3, but I'm just saying. There we go. Like ultimate hit home situation for that. In closing, probably the most political, social kind of conversation I've had about anything. But you know, honestly, the ESRB exists. Look it up, research it. You can get the information you need, parents. And if you don't think your kids can handle these violent games, don't buy them for them. You know, and that's where I'm gonna stay on this. So I hope you like this video. Uh, I'm gonna probably if I ever get the gold copy of Naughty Bear, I'll do a I'll do that review next. Hopefully, if I can get the videos working better, I'll actually start having some screen caps and some shots and stuff. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, have a good one.